Alright, so this is my wrist and hand palpation video with my very willing subject, CJ. He's very happy to be here.
Okay. Happy to be here.
So I'm going to start off with the radius bone, which is right here. Right there. Radial styloid process right here. Lister's tubercle, which is right here. And then you got the ulna bone, which is right along here. You have your ulnar styloid process, and I think you're good there. So then for as long as the carpals go, you have your scaphoid right here, your lunate, your triquetrum, and then your pisiform right here. And if you come up here, you have your trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, and then your hamate, and then your hook of the hamate is right here. Then you have your metacarpals 1 through 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your first phalange, which has just a proximal and distal part of it. Then you have your other 2 through 5 phalanges that have a proximal, middle, and distal part of it. So then you have your connective tissues. You have your radial collateral ligament, and there are 3, well, technically like more than that, but there's one in the wrist here, and then in the thumb here and here, and then in the fingers here, here, and here. And then you have your ulnar collateral ligaments, which are here, right there on the thumb, and then on the opposite side here, there, and there. Then you have your volar plates, which are on the palmar side that prevent hyperflexion of your fingers. And then you have your palmar aponeurosis right here. Then your flexor retinaculum that runs across the palm like this. Then your extensor retinaculum that runs across the top of your hand like that. Then you have your median nerve, which runs and innervates the 1, 2, and 3 fingers, including the thumb. And then you have, I think that's actually, and then you have your thenar eminence right here and the hypothenar eminence of the hand. Then articulations, you have your radiocarpal joint, which is right here connecting the radial styloid process and the distal end of the radius to the carpals, the scaphoid. Then you have your first carpometacarpal joint, that's the thumb right here. Then you have your metacarpophalangeal joints, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. And then you have your proximal and your distal interphalangeal joints on each hand or finger. And then for muscles, the first one is the flexor carpi radialis, which runs from the lateral epicondyle down to the base of the 2nd and 3rd metacarpals, and that is going to be radial deviation and wrist flexion. Then you have your flexor carpi ulnaris, which runs from the lateral epicondyle across to the base of the pisiform, hamate, and the base of the 5th metacarpal, and that is going to be wrist flexion and ulnar deviation. Then you have your palmaris longus, which is the lateral epicondyle of the humerus, all the way down to your palmar aponeurosis, and that is going to be wrist flexion. Then you have your flexor digitorum superficialis, which runs, I'm going to need you to flip over here, from the lateral epicondyle down through your hand and attaches to the middle phalanges of the hand, and that is going to be finger flexion and wrist flexion. Then you have your flexor digitorum profundus, which is the proximal head of the ulna, down to the base of the proximal phalanges, and that's going to be wrist flexion and finger flexion. Then you have your, over here, you have your extensor carpi ulnaris, which is from the medial epicondyle through here. I say ulnaris or radialis, ulnaris. And that goes to the base of the fifth metacarpal, and that's going to be wrist extension and ulnar deviation. Then the flexor carpi radialis is from the medial epicondyle down to medial epicondyle here to the base of the second and third metacarpals, and that is going to be wrist extension and radial deviation. And finally, there's the extensor digitorum communis, pretty much, and that's going to be from the lateral epicondyle of the humerus down to the tips of the distal phalanges of the hand, and that is going to be finger extension and wrist extension. And then the tendon, I just need like 5 more things here, bud. Then the tendon of the adductor pollicis longus is right here. And then the tendon of the extensor pollicis longus is also right here. And then the extensor pollicis brevis is right next to it right there. And then finally you have the abductor pollicis, which runs right here, and then the opponens pollicis, which is right here, and it allows abduction of the finger and opponens, which is unique. Thank you.